fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Junto, and well, quite a bit of things have been going on with him. 2 months have passed since Junto has met Janine and made a pact with her. Deku, he's found that this new land, it is an actual threat towards him. So he's had to equip his troops with modern day technology from our world, such as firearms, explosives, and even some vehicles. Now, Deku, he has done this to give him and his allies the edge. And in the last 2 months, Deku's kill count went from 43 million to a little over 60 million. Deku, his name is starting to be well known and well feared. People, they will either immediately surrender to him or try to put up a fight, thinking that this man is all talk. However, it's become widespread knowledge that he's taken down 2 of the 4 former Demon Lord's commanders. And there's even a rumor floating around there that he's turned the 3rd one to his side. Now, Deku is well aware of these rumors. He's got eyes and ears everywhere. And people, they're sort of acting like he's the boogeyman. However, they know that he's far worse. Everything they've heard about that man has either been true, proven true, or yet to be proven. And well, it's quite a terrifying thought. People might be more afraid of him than the actual Demon Lord, unaware that she is currently dead. Now, with that being said, we do actually have today, where Deku, he is waiting. Whenever the information does come in today, he wants to head out. He will face off against everyone. He needs to. He's heard a few whispers from a few places. The Demon Lord's army, they're gathering. At least 1/10 of those troops are loyal to the daughter. Deku, yeah. He knows that number is still very high. Even if he himself does go into battle, there is the fact that he would have to face off against the 4th commander. And possibly even the actual Demon Lord's daughter herself. Now, Deku, yeah. He does just somewhat worry. He is aware of the strength of this army. Even 1/10 of it outnumbers most of his troops. However, he himself would be able to take them all down. If he goes all out and uses Warrior's Madness, there's no doubt that he will win. However, he himself would possibly drain more than half of his power. And that is what he does worry about. Facing off against the commander, that is what he needs to do first. That's his top priority. Take them down and then knock everyone else over like dominoes. Then, his people, they will go to victory. Now, we do have Deku, where people, they do give him some news, and he does look at a few people. As he does give orders to everybody around his table before going to stand up and leave. As we do actually have where he does go to fall out of a window, and using his wings, he does go to take flight. Now, people do go and watch him leave, as Deku is heading to a location on the innermost part of the continent. He is aware that the Demon Lord's daughter, she's gathering forces. Their number is about an 80 million strong, and that in and above itself is a tenth of the army. It's a terrifying thought. Facing 800 million demons. That number alone would possibly be able to take over their home and overwhelm the armies of the demi-human and other races. Now, Deku, yeah. He's hoping that the commander is there. If she is, this will provide him to be adequate entertainment. Now, Deku's blood is rising, and he knows that he's giving into the instincts of the demon side. The brutality of all of it. It feels more natural to him. War, chaos, and destruction. All these things that Deku wishes to end, he can't help but seek out now. He's, well, he believes to be broken. Now, Deku is aware of his instincts, and repressing them is somewhat difficult. However, he can't be afraid to indulge them when needed. He needs to know whenever to let the monster out to play. And that's exactly what he does plan to do, if the supposed rumors of the army is true. Now, we do actually have over in this location, where the fourth commander is currently giving a speech, and is informing the troops about what is going to happen. Very soon, they are going to march on human territory, and they themselves will decimate the remaining population of the creatures that used to live there, or used to live upon this world. They will enslave what they can and use them for labor, since that's all those species are really good for to them. The humans in their camps are running dry. They need to replenish their sources. Now, this is where the commander does actually go to look up, as they can feel something, and it doesn't seem to be all that well, or good. Now, this is where we actually have Deku, who he is floating overhead, and many people do look up to see that man, as Deku does let his aura flow free, and he sends out a massive wave of bloodlust that everybody, they do just look up towards the sky and feel. Now, the fourth commander is currently flying towards Deku, as Deku, he does stand there about 5 feet apart from them, as they're floating in front of him. You're him, aren't you? Him? You know my name. Say it. You must be the one known as Junto. The next in line. I'll have you know that she really doesn't want you to be in charge. I don't care what she thinks. This is what I am destined to do. Perhaps, but you're soft, aren't you? You're weak. You couldn't even do it. Couldn't do what? Take over the world. If you really wanted to take over the demon realm, you should have done better. You should have tried more. Now, Deku does go to bring up his hand, informing this commander that he's doing as he does please. And if they have a problem with that, then they'll just become another stain on his hands. And Deku, he does just stare at them. He knows that they're not a demon. He knows that they're not whatever else he's faced off against. Those wings are black and made of feathers. And Deku just stare at them. You're a fallen angel. Hmm? Yes, I am. I've gone by many names before, but I do service the Demon Lord. I see. I've never met one of you before. Well, that is technically untrue. I've heard you killed our traitor. Yes, the immortal man. He was difficult. I figured it out, however. I see. Most impressive. You were able to kill him, the goo, and even turn the vampire. Yes, I have. I've been a little busy those last couple months. So, I have a question for you. And exactly what would that be? Will you serve, or will you die? Servicing you will not be something I do. I have pledged loyalty to the Demon Lord. Now, Deku, he does look at the person floating across from him. He can tell that they're content. However, he does know where their heart is. Deku going to bring down his right hand, as he does go to at least cast a magic spell. The person watching Deku as he does cast fireball magic. Now, the person will watch the fireball as it does blast the air and quickly smash into the ground, as a large shockwave does form from the blast. And Deku does look the person dead in the eyes, still maintaining eye contact. Demon Lord, you've failed her. You have no purpose to serve. I see. There is still her daughter, who does not maintain the same title. As far as I'm made aware, she does not hold any regard for it. She can't wield the same weapons I can she? Now, Deku does look at this person, as they do just stay there with a smirk on their face. And Deku, he does just look dead serious, bringing up his left hand and going to cast Explosion Magic. Now, the person does maintain eye contact with Deku, as they do go to bring up their own hands. Now, Deku, he would rush forwards, as this person does as well. Now, Deku, he's put all of his points into his magical abilities, and he's spent all of them. He's made sure to put them in his skills he's already gotten close to advancing to next levels. And he's gained mastery over fire magic along with many other disciplines. Now, Deku, he's facing off against the fallen angel, and he actually has to use strength magic. Deku bringing up his hand as he does clock the person directly across the face, and they do go to try and stab into him with their hand. Deku, he does immediately go to use his other skill, as he does quickly spin out of the way and directly go to grab their arm, as Deku does bring up his, right arm, and smash it down to go and break their arm. Now, the person was confused. Deku turned into a blur for approximately about 1 second. What the hell was that? Deku going to bring up his left hand and just quickly smash them in their nose, and they do go to fall towards the ground. Now, Deku does look at all the forces around him, as mainly do go to cast magical spells, and Deku does bring up his hands as he does create a barrier of darkness around him. Now, all of them are having their magical powers smashed together and into Deku's power, or his defenses, as nothing does happen whenever the smoke does clear. And then there's actually Deku. The ball he's created, it does start turning spiky and jagged, as multiple tendrils do fly out from the ball and smash into the ground. as the thing does start disappearing from the bottom half. And Deku, he does go to fall down and directly onto the battlefield, as he does go to use his skill known as Boosted, in tandem with his newfound strength. Now, Deku, yeah, Boosted is a combination skill. What it does is, Deku, as long as he sacrifices his strength skill and his speed skill, he can mesh these two skills together into one. It's basically making a form of one for all, however without the lightning. Now, Deku does going to bring up his hands, as he does throw a single punch in one direction, and he obliterates the area for 200 miles. And he does just swing his arms backwards and cast large amounts of explosion magic, as the area it begins to start ripping asunder, and multiple troops do try and rush towards Deku. They will do this for their lord. They have to. They will do this to make sure that she can take power. Now, the fallen angel does actually come back in, as they do go to bring up their own weapon and try and slash down at Deku. Deku looking up as he is going to grab his sword and spawn it. Now, he does directly go to block their weapon, as he is going to bring up his hand and directly go to use his right hand to punch directly into their wrist, as he does go to summon his own weapon and slash them across the chest. The person going to drop their weapon as Deku, he does look down at that. Now, Deku is quite curious. If this person is a fallen angel, they can't use regular weapons, can they? This has to be something new. They can't use holy weapons or the demonic weapons. So what is this? Now, Deku does go to reach down and pick up this strange object, as he does go to look at it. He can already feel it trying to burn through his hand, but he does find it to be quite interesting. The weapon looks like a sword on a long stick. However, it's straightened out and covered in heavy amounts of steel, or whatever this strange material is made of. Now, Deku does go to just throw back his hand and toss it right at the fallen, as they themselves are trying to go on the offensive. Them seeing their weapon flat, then they do go to bring up their hands and use defensive magic. As they do something Deku finds quite surprising. They create a barrier and the weapon just goes smashing into it, as the fallen does go to bring up their own hand and grab the weapon, and try to fly back in towards Deku. Now, forces do begin to start piling onto Deku's body, as he does just do one thing. He just does bring up his hands, and grabbing onto both of his arms, he casts explosion magic, as he's covered in flames and body parts do get sent flying away from him. Now, Deku, he does actually at least let one copy of himself roam free. As it does jump out of his back, he does just do one thing. He does inform it that it can go crazy, as it actually does begin to start turning into a giant dragon. Now, everyone does watch that. It doesn't turn into the wyvern Deku killed. It turns into the large water dragon that Deku killed at sea. Now, everyone there quite surprised, as this ginormous dragon, instead of it spewing water or ice as they do expect, it just starts to cast fire throughout its entire mouth. And it does just start wreaking havoc using its body as a weapon all around the battlefield. Now, the fallen angel was quite surprised by that. That giant beast is another version of him. This is quite crazy. Now, we do actually have Junto, who he does go to rocket in and smash the barrier as the fallen angel does still stare at him. As Deku, he does have a large smirk on his face, as he's going to bring up his right hand and go to attack. The fallen are going to bring up their own hand as Deku does smash right through it and break it, sending them flying backwards as they go smashing into the ground. Now, Deku does watch as the person does go to stand back up, and their arm does begin to start twisting and contorting and heal again. I see. So, are you just like how he was? Don't compare me to that fool. I see. So, what do you do? Shut up. No, that's not how this works. Stop. Deku's still walking forwards. And Deku just watches the expression on the Fallen's face. It does turn from pissed to frightened. I said stop. Now, Deku does feel something, as he can feel resistant to order or defiant to order activate. I see. Command magic. Quite interesting. This shouldn't be possible. This can't be happening. So, does that mean that every man here is your slave? No. They're loyal. I doubt that. Now, Deku does rush in, as the Fallen do go to bring up their hands and go to cast blood magic. And Deku, he does actually feel his body go to stop, as he is still walking forwards. And the person they're trying to at least use their magical powers to skewer Deku with his own blood. Now, Deku does actually have spikes that can start forming out of his hands, as he does go to cast his own magic, and the spikes do start going back down. And this fallen angel, they're actually starting to get more frightened. They just skewered this guy's arms and parts of his spine, yet he's still trying to come towards her. Now, Deku, he does stand directly in front of the fallen angel, as he's going to bring up his hand and grab her directly by her throat, asking her if she really does believe that her commander is the next in line. You can't be. Now, Deku does look in the corner of his eye, as he does still look at the sword. Right now, currently, his number of kills is rapidly rising. It just passed somewhere around 83 million. And Deku does look back towards the battlefield, as the other version of himself is wreaking havoc through the rest of the troops. Many of them are trying to face off against him, and many are trying to evacuate and get the hell away from here. Deku knows that he may have just taken down what? A fourth of them? A fifth? It doesn't matter. All of them here will be his sacrifices, and it doesn't matter what happens. Deku turning back to the fallen angel. I told you it was useless. Deku going to quickly twist his wrist as the fallen's neck does snap. And Deku, he does watch as the soul does go to fall out. And Deku does look quite confused, as he does go to bring up his hand and grab onto this black orb. Now, Deku does ask Wise Man what this is. Note, this would be a fallen soul. Choices vary. Vary? Yes, Fallens are forbidden from returning to the afterlife. Many options are available to them. However, annihilation is purely recommended. Are you serious? Yes, multiple options also do ensue. However, you may also be able to store this for a later time. Perhaps. Now, Deku does just take the soul and put it into his inventory, as he does wonder about that. As he does go to turn back around and look at the chaos as it does ensue, before going to bring up his hands and smash them together. Now, as this happens, the battlefield does begin to start ripping apart, and Deku, he's having his fun. He's annihilating everybody in his path. And we actually do have the Demon Lord's daughter, who she is watching that. Her commanders have fallen. That vampire, she isn't on her side. The fact that this is all happening now proves that this is so bad. That man, he has to be him. He has to be the next one in line. There's only one option he has left. So he has to take that man down, then take down the vampire. Then, the rest of the forces will be forced to see her as legitimate. She will take over her mother's rule. And that's all there is to it. Now, she does go to stand, as she does think that this is a desperate move. Now, she does got to head towards her armory, or the one her mother has made over the course of her life, as she does look up to a set of armor that her mother used to wear. And she does just think, this is practically suicide. However, if she does hold out for long enough, then it will all be worth it. Now, she does just think, this is where it's going to end. No more. She's let that man go on long enough, and now it's her time to shine. If the commanders, they failed, then she'll just simply replace them once she's done. She will regain the title that she was supposed to be born with. And she will make sure that no one will question her. Now, with that being said, what has been going on back over in the capital, or Deku City? Now, quite a bit has been happening, as we'll cut back to 2 months ago, where one day the copy of Deku, or the clone, randomly did wake up with a strange symbol on his neck. And, well, yeah. Everyone was quite confused, as Junto, or the copy, was basically informed about a vampire that Deku did encounter. Now, everyone was quite surprised, as Lore had many questions about what that thing is. And Deku, yeah, he basically did talk about how for right now, the vampire might be on their side. However, it's a bit of an unsteady alliance, since, well, this is who she is, this is how she acts, and this is what she's basically doing. Now, that was all quite strange, and they were surprised to hear about it. As Deku himself, yeah, he also got a bit more news, since apparently the number 3 went to a 6. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. Catch you guys in the next part.